dive in. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning, everybody. I am sick, so yeah. I think everybody in our house is sick, which is a very, very bad week for it. Because we got our funeral this weekend, and we're kind of running it, so we'll pull it off. We always do. One way or another. My wife and I get stuff done. I don't know how, but we do. My only job really is to put together a playlist. It's not that big, so I'm thinking about doing some extra stuff to add to it. Not sure yet, but you will see. We will be in the 12 by 12 today, I believe. Let me look. Yep, 12 by 12, page 38. This is 12 by 12. It's the 12 steps and traditions. We just call it the 12 by 12 because it's a lot shorter. We like our TLAs in AA, which stands for 3-letter acronyms. We like to shorten our stuff. Like the big book. I like the big book. This sucks. All right. How did I know that we were going to be in step 3? It's this story that goes with it. Hi, Patricia. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to start in just a few seconds here. I've only got 3 books to work with. Actually, I don't need this one. Because what it says in there is in the 12 by 12, so. All right. Oh, good stretch. Good stretch. I'm sick, so. Yeah, arg. Yeah, I took some medicine for it. I mean, what can we take? We're alcoholics. You gotta be careful on cold medicine too. Mucinex and Tylenol. That's all you can really do. Welcome, Daily Trudge. Dayquil is okay, but not NyQuil. Welcome, Daily Trudge. Robitussin. No. Okay, Robitussin has alcohol in it. Thank you. Thank you. It's my Punisher shirt. I'm a big fan of Punisher. It's the skull. And the guy that plays Punisher now, I'm a big fan of his. He does a really good job playing it. The Punisher has a lot of psychological problems, and for some reason that just interests me. I feel kind of close. Yeah, listen to him while you do chores. That's fine. Hi, Ingrid. All right, everybody's here. Let's get going. So I'm going to start on page 38, but I am going to go a paragraph before. So I'm going to start on top of page 38. We realize the word dependence is as distasteful to many psychiatrists and psychologists as it is to alcoholics. Like our professional friends, we too are aware that there are wrong forms of dependence. We have experienced many of them. No adult man or woman, for example, should be too much emotionally dependent upon a parent. They should have been weaned long before, and they have not been. They should wake up to the fact. This form of faulty dependence has caused many rebellious alcoholics to conclude that dependence of any sort must be intolerably damaging. But dependence upon a group or a higher power hasn't produced any baleful results. Now, here's the problem. I was told that, my parents were that way. Children were to be seen, not heard. Don't you ever say the words, I'm bored. Don't say it. Mom, I'm bored. Well, you're going to be doing chores. Well, I've been doing dishes since I was 7 years old, man. Yeah. That's the kind of household I grew up in. We did it by hand, right? There was 7 of us, 5 kids, well, 4 kids in the beginning, so 6 of us. Yeah, and I was one of those kids where I just wanted my mother's attention, like all the time, right? And this wasn't healthy. This wasn't healthy. And my mom tried to make me independent, but the only way to make me independent was, hey, you got to figure this shit out yourself. See, they didn't replace it with something. They didn't go further and tell me that I needed to depend on God and not on them, because they were not doing it. So they didn't know how. Even though my the man that raised me grew up very strict Mormon. Okay, he knew. He knew. I don't think he believed in God himself. I think he was very turned off by religion. He never said anything. Um, so, I had to toughen up, right? And that happened in my teenage years. I had to toughen up. My parents put me in a halfway house when I was 14 and go back home. And I went from living in white suburbia to Crips and Bloods. And so when I came back, I was a different person. They made a better horse thief. See, being in halfway houses and around these other people taught me how to be more dangerous. I was told, don't fuck with the quiet dude. You may not know this, but I'm shy. I am. I'm introverted. Until I made myself extroverted. Alcohol did that to me. Now I don't give a fuck who you are. I will walk right up to you. I really don't care. The money does not fascinate me. Your popularity does not fascinate me. No. In fact, I am very, very strict. All right. When World War II broke out, the spiritual principle had its first major test. AAs entered the services and were scattered all over the world. Would they be able to take discipline, stand up to fire, and endure the monotony and misery of war? With the kind of dependence they had learned in AA carry them through? Well, it did. They had even fewer alcoholic relapses or emotional binges than AA Safe at Home did. And I'll tell you why. There's it's very simple. We alcoholics will stay sober through arduous things. It's the good shit that fucks us up. I watched it. It happens too many times. If you're an alcoholic and something bad comes along, the thought process is, I've got to stay sober. You're geared that way. You don't have a choice. Because we only consider bad consequences. What about the good consequences? So we don't think of that. Right? when it is harder for the alcoholic, the more likely they will stay sober. Because we get to show again the skills that we have learned, and we get excited about that part. It's the excitement that fucks me up. It's because they had it easier. Their life was more convenient here. When life is more convenient, you have less control over your life. Well, I don't want control over my life. Bullshit, you don't. You have total control over your life. Yeah. But you're making the right choices now. That's the only difference. All right. Well, it did. And they were just as capable of endurance and valor as any other soldiers. In fact, they were probably better soldiers because they understand that as a group, you've got to survive together as a group, and that includes war. Whether in the Alaska or on the Salerno beachhead, their dependence upon a higher power worked, and far from being a weakness, this dependence was their chief source of strength. It is also my chief source of strength. Yes. I carry God in my hip pocket. Always. I always have God with me. That's my choice. That's my choice. I can easily walk away. I can make the choice to walk away. I don't want that. It's not something that I want in my life. I'm enjoying this too much. Even while being sick. Did you ever notice when you were drinking you were never sick? So how exactly can the willing person continue to turn his will and life over the power of God? He made a beginning, we have seen, when he commenced to rely upon AA for the solution of his alcohol problem. By now, though, the chances are that he has become convinced that he has more problems than alcohol, and that some of these refuse to be solved by all the sheer personal determination and courage can muster. And here's the thing. Alcohol wasn't my problem. It was the solution. All right. But in this case, it was the problem. But I just want to remind you, in this case, it's the problem. But we were using it for a solution, and it turned into a problem. Okay. Oh, so when I'm sick, I gotta stretch a lot. It makes me feel better. So, all right. So the thing is even these next parts I can't do on my own. I've got to have a guide. I've got to have somebody. These fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh steps are. I mean, it says in the 12 by 12 that step 6 separates the men from the boys. In the big book, it's only a paragraph long. So that just tells you what little action you take in step 6 is paramount. It isn't the size of the action. It's the fruits of the labor. It's not the size of the action. It's the fruits of the labor. It's the dividends. It's always about the dividends. It's what you want. Stop yelling! Our friend is still victimized by remorse and guilt when he thinks of yesterday. Bitterness still overpowers him when he broods upon those he still envies or hates. His financial insecurity worries him sick, and panic takes over when he thinks of all the bridges to safety that alcohol burned behind him. Yeah, he switched rooms. I'm going to have to go talk to him about that. I'm not going to have somebody above me yelling while I'm doing this. He's loud and obnoxious like me. So. Okay. I know I'm loud. So people tell me all the time. They're like, I'm going to take you off speakerphone. I don't need you on speakerphone. I'm like, no shit. I'm not the person you put on speakerphone because I will say things too. All right. So you best not put me on speakerphone. And if you do, you better warn me. All right. I'm gonna redo this because I was a little too pissed at my son at the moment. So a friend is still victimized by remorse and guilt when he thinks of yesterday. I remember those. It took me a long time to get over the guilt and the shame and the remorse around my children. I still kind of go through it because, like now, what if I had been there instead? Maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe he wouldn't be going through what he's going through. You know, I don't know. Bitterness still overpowers him when it broods on those he still envies or hates. That's a big one for me. When I wake up in the morning, well, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but my brain would go right to who do I hate today? And it's part of my PTSD. Who am I blaming today? It happened today. And it was a whole group of people. It was every single person in Adams County and um, and Aurora Mental Health that are not listening to me. And I'm thinking about writing a very, very strong worded letter. Hold on. My stomach just said, ooh, hold on. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Don't worry, I will not throw up on camera. I'll shut it down first. All right. And he thinks of all the bridges to safety that alcohol has burned behind him. How shall he ever straighten out that awful jam that cost him the affection of his family and separated him from them? That was a big one for me. It was. And acid tons. Why do we always feel like we need to qualify what we're doing so people don't think we're doing drugs and alcohol? Fucking bullshit. All right. Goes with the territory. His financial insecurity worries him and panic takes over when he thinks of all the bridges. Oh, yeah. His lone courage and unaided will cannot do it. Surely he must depend upon somebody or something else. This one, it's called Centering Our Thoughts. I like the Source of Strength better. Sorry, but chewing on camera is very rude. Okay. I will center my thoughts on my higher power. I will center my thoughts on a higher power. I will surrender all to this power within me. I will become a soldier for this power, feeling the might of the spiritual army as it exists in my life today. I will allow a wave of spiritual union to connect me through my gratitude, obedience, and discipline to this higher power. Let me allow this power to lead me through the orders of the day. May the steps I take today strengthen my words and deeds. And I know the message I carry is mine to share, given freely by this power greater than myself. All right. The only way I've found to true independence is a dependence on a power greater than myself. It's the only one that I have found. And I enjoy it. So I'm going to end it at that. I'll probably be back a little bit later. We will see. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you.